As I discussed with Chisimdi Fivi, today I'm going to be just laying the groundwork, and then we're going to wrap tomorrow with the technicalities. So today I'm going to be sharing for the next 15 to 20, 30 minutes on the fundamentals, and I want us to have this class as collaborative as ever. What I mean is that let's engage, because I want to ask a few questions and then I will dive into what I have for us today. And also, please, I know that a lot of us are listening, but please I would like you to get your notepad, your pen and paper, because I would like you to jot down the things that I will be sharing in this session. Okay, so go get your notepad. Just a minute, go get your notepad. I wish we had said it at the beginning, your pen and paper, and then we'll dive into what we've got today. So you guys don't need to see my face, because we have been told to put off our videos. Okay, so but then I think we're going to have a good time. At any point in time that you can hear me clearly or correctly, please put it as a comment in the chat box so that I can note it and see how we can do adjustments. Okay, so if you're ready, I want us to answer this question, because today I'm talking about or teaching on copywriting. All right, copywriting. That's what I am. My session is all about. I know that you guys must have heard about the word copy, must have heard about copywriting, must have heard about, this buzzword people throw around. Good copy, good copywriting, becoming a copywriting expert is all over the place. I want to teach you how to make 7 figures. I want to teach you how to make 8 figures and all that kind of stuff. I know you must have heard them, but I want to ask a very simple question, because tonight I'm not here to want to bamboozle you. A lot of individuals have lots of books. I'm here to share. Give me a hello guys, can you guys hear me now?
Yeah, we can hear you, but you're just skipping a little bit.
I don't know, network.
We'll always be here waiting, irrespective of the network issues. So just go ahead.
Sorry about that. Let me.
I would suggest you remove your video if you want to share
Yeah, I've
your
removed my
screen
video.
better.
No, I'm not. I'm not sharing screen, and I'm not using my video. So yeah. So you can hear me now, everybody, right? So the question I wanted to ask is this: having heard all those buzzwords and everything that you've had, good copywriting, please, I want you to tell me in all sincerity in the comment box, what do you understand? What do you understand by copywriting? I'd like to see. Just type for me in the chat box. I want to know what you have come to understand about copywriting. Okay, somebody, Jumoke is saying it's a sales speech. That's fine. Jumoke says it's a sales pitch. I wish you were a little bit more explanatory. Okay, Jumoke, I wish that you can be more explanatory. You can explain a little bit more, beyond what you call a sales pitch. Okay, beyond what you call a sales pitch. Okay, fine. Ibel says a form of writing that persuades people to buy. Fantastic. I like that. A form of writing that persuades people to buy. Abel says it's a form of writing that persuades people to buy. Celestina, I don't really understand what you mean by using one copy for many copies. Can you be a little bit more explanatory for me so I can understand what you mean by using one copy? I'm asking you guys in a very simple, sincere, what do you think, in a very sincere and simple format, what do you think copywriting means? Or when you hear copies, what is the art of convincing your audience to buy something through writing? Fantastic. I like Oge Oswago. The art of convincing your audience to buy the art of convincing your audience to buy something through writing. Fantastic. Copywriting is the use of words to communicate to people's minds. I like this particular one by Uche. Uche says copywriting is the use of words to communicate to people's minds. I like that. Joy, a piece of information about a product or service. Well, that's just about it. A piece of information about a product or service is actually not copywriting. It's not really. If you go to a shop and you pick up a product on the shop, you'll see a piece of information about that product in the shop. If you buy a tin of milk and look at the tin, you'll find some information about the product. That's not really copywriting. Well, it's not really copywriting. Editing content that one can use to make sales. Okay. Editing a piece of content that one can use to make sales. Okay. Copywriting is a salesman in print. Fantastic thoughts. Copywriting is a salesman in print. It's a type of writing that sells a product by persuading your audience. It's writing for the purpose of advertising and sales. It is writing for the purpose of advertising and sales. All right. I like that. It's a write-up that makes an audience buy a good. Fantastic, fantastic. It's a writing that inspires people to take action. A product or service advert. Well, product or service advert is not really entirely copywriting. It's writing for the purpose of advertising and sales. Okay, fantastic. So I'm seeing a lot of descriptions or what you guys think about copywriting, and I like that. I like that, and I don't want to really stretch beyond your definitions. Your definitions are actually very, very correct for the ones that I said that are correct, right? At the bottom line of copywriting, good copywriting, the bottom line for every good copywriting is persuasion. I want you to note that down, okay? Is persuasion, the ability to persuade people to take certain actions, the ability for you to use written words, most importantly, written words or video words, I mean, words that you communicate through video format, to be able to persuade someone to take an action. And please, copywriting is not basically all the time to make people to buy something. This is what a lot of individuals think that it is. I'm not going to give you another technical definition, and I'm going to choose one of the definitions that you guys have dropped here, or two of them. Copywriting is use of words to communicate to people's minds. Fantastic. That's a part of it. Is the art of convincing your audience to buy something through writing. Good. A form of writing that persuades people to buy. But please, I just want you to add to your definition that copywriting is either through written words or through words communicated by video format. So for example, you're watching someone. I don't know how many of you watched Obama, the former president of the United States, during the campaigns that he did to become the president of the US. Obama is a master copywriter in using communicating words to, via a human form. What I mean is that he reads his words out, or he stands before people and then he communicates. And he's a very good guy when it comes to persuading people. His words are very persuasive. When you listen to Barack Obama, you find out that the guy has a way of communicating in a way that convinces you that he's someone that you should listen to. He's someone that should become your president. And that was how he became the president of America. So I want you to understand something, that copywriting is all about persuasion, persuading people that you are reaching out to your audience, to your prospect, to someone who wants to buy something from, to be able to take an action. But please, it's not always all about buying something. It's not always about buying something. Copywriting is not just every time about buying something. All right, I'm going to explain that. All right, so copywriting can be utilized to make people to love your brand. All right, copywriting can be utilized in written, the written words that you write can be used to persuade people to fall in love with your brand. It can be used to persuade people to trust your brand. Okay, to persuade them to love your brand, to persuade them to trust your brand, to persuade them to become to become loyal to your brand. And then finally, it can be utilized to make people to buy from you. It's important for you to understand that. Okay, so please write down, copywriting is to make people to persuade, because you need to understand that at the center of every copywriting, every copy that you do is persuasion. Writing in such a way, communicating in such a way to persuade someone to take an action. And I'm saying that those actions can be, number one, for them to love your brand, for them to love your product. For them to become loyal to your product or to your brand, for them to love your brand, for them to trust your brand, and finally for them to buy from your brand, or to buy your product, or buy into you as a personal brand. Okay, so we need to understand that these are 4 things: loyalty, trust, love, and buying. And I know a lot of individuals love the buying factor, the buying part, which is absolutely fantastic. But I need you to understand that it's not every time that people come in contact with you that they may buy. It can get from the point of them loving your brand, becoming loyal to your brand, accepting your brand, and then finally to buy from you. Sales can happen when people connect to your copy. It can happen instantly when people connect to your copy. It can also happen when after a while they have come to love your brand, they've come to trust your brand, and then they now buy from you. So these things can happen, I know, along the spectrum of contacts that you're getting with your audience. Okay, so it's critically important for you to understand that. So the next question I'm going to ask as I begin to go into the what is good copy, what you should think about when you have to do copy, and then the elements of good copy before we call it a wrap for today. So the first thing, the question I want to ask you is, what do you, when you read a copy, what makes you to say to yourself that this is actually good copywriting? I want to see your comments. When you read a copy, maybe you read a landing page, you read a sales page, what makes you think to you that is actually good copywriting? I want to see your comments. I want to see your comments, guys. As I said, let's engage tonight. Let's engage tonight. Because I want this to be as simple as ever. I don't want to make it so technical to the point that it's just flying over your head. Yeah, so I'm seeing the comments. Fantastic. I'm seeing a lot of great comments here. You guys are amazing. And I'm loving the fact that you're understanding what it means. So Susan is saying, when it talks about how he can solve my problem, when it talks about how he can solve my problem, I'm hooked on the page. So Precious says, I'm hooked on the page. Fantastic. So if your copy is not making someone to be hooked on the page, tomorrow we are going to be, after tonight's session, you'll be sent, I will send you some copies of mine that I've written. And then we tomorrow, what we are going to be delving is to look at those copies, and then we will look at how the elements that make up for a good copy, right? Other elements that make up for a good copy, and then we will do some assignments. You need to realize that for you to be able to write good copies, it's out of practice. You have to keep practicing and practicing and practicing. It's not something that you do once and you feel that you've gotten it correctly. Even as my level, I'm consistently practicing. I'm consistently practicing and practicing almost every day. Okay, so when it talks about Susan is saying, when it talks about how you can solve my problem, fantastic. I'm hooked on the page. When it's very relatable, fantastic. When it gets my attention and keeps me focused, beautiful. So you can see, you guys are really, you have read good copies, and you're understanding that these are the things that appeal to you, and you want to be able to write in such a way that these things become part of how you communicate to your audience. When the copy meets my needs, fantastic. When I stand to benefit something from the service, when the benefits, Anibokun is right, is saying when the benefits and purpose of the copy are clearly stated, fantastic, fantastic. Okay, when it's concise and straight to the point and meets a client's needs, if that copy has a solution to the audience problem, it's a good copy for me if I can relate to it and I can solve an existing problem. Good. Uche is saying when it addresses the problem and provide a solution. A copy connect, resonate, and point out the pain points of its audiences. Fantastic. Sunstar, it must have a headline, benefits to prospects, call to action. Beautiful. When I can relate, the tone of the writer, beautiful. The tone of the writer, I like this one. The tone of the writer. The tone of the writer. When the contents are well put in place, it attracts right attention from the consumer. When it brings solutions, when it gives good visual picture and understanding of the brand even before actually using it. When the tone of the writer suggests that the said information is relevant to my need. When it's relatable, straight to the point, and solving my needs. Beautiful. Okay, when it's informative and educative, very fantastic. When it takes different approach to solving a problem. So these are, I like the fact that you guys have seen good copies and the fact that you have spoken about the things that you have seen in very good copies. Okay. All right. So I want to share with you this thing. So I hope that your pen and paper are there so that you can write down. So I want you to write these things down. Good copywriting, I want you to write this thing down. Good copywriting demands that your mind is in the present to pick elements from the universe that is around us. Now, let me repeat it again. Good copywriting demands that your mind is in the present to pick elements from the universe around us. If someone has gotten it, you can type out for other people in the comment section so that they also can read. Good copywriting demands that your mind is in the present to pick elements from the universe around us. And I want you to understand this, okay? You are writing copies for human beings, and human beings are existing on earth. And they are the elements around us, the elements of the air, the elements of what we see, the elements of what we breathe, you know, the senses, the human senses of sight, of breathing, of you know, our human senses of feeling, of touch. You have to for you to be a good copywriter, you must be present to be able to pick out these elements from the universe. For those who read me, you see that these things play out in how I create copies, because I'm creating copies for human beings, and I'm thinking, how does sense of sight affect? Okay, so good copywriting demands that your mind is in the present to pick elements from the universe. Fantastic. Thank you, Uche. Thank you, Precious. So how does sight affect the one I'm trying to reach out to? How does taste affect the one that I'm trying to reach out to? How does smell affect the individual I'm trying to reach out to? How does touch? I want us to understand something, that the audience that we're trying to reach out to, different individuals react to different things in different ways. So how are you able to capture how these individuals relate to something. Let me make it very, very simple. You find out that there are some individuals that the moment you want to have a conversation with them, they want to have a phone call with you. What it means is that these individuals, they hear more, they receive more they receive information better when it has to do with them hearing something. Then there are some individuals, they don't really make phone calls. They are very good when it has to do with chatting. So they can chat with you hours on end. So it means that they are more visual. They want to, they like to read. They like to read what it is that you've written, and then they're able to consume in that way. Then there are some individuals, when you want to have conversations with them, they want to be present with you physically. Because there are some individuals, these virtual things that we're all doing, they don't really like it because it removes that human connection, that human feel. But tell them about a physical event. Tell them that we're going to host a seminar. You find them being very excited, and then they want to be present because they are feelers. So human beings have ways of receiving differently. They have different ways of receiving information. So I am always in the present to understand how the audience that I'm reaching out to, this prospect that I'm reaching out to, how can I be able to utilize his elements of comprehension to be able to reach out to him. Remember, somebody said that copywriting is that you're able to write in such a way that you reach someone's mind. Fantastic. That's a very good thing. All right. So you've got to be able to reach to the mind, because the mind is the seat of wisdom. The mind is where all the emotions are playing out. Our mind is what controls our body, our system. So that's where everything is happening. The decision making, the decision to do something, the decision to fall in love, the decision to buy, it's all happening in the mind. So your ability to get to someone's mind and trigger it in such a way using emotional triggers will make the individual to want to love your brand. They want the individual to fall in love with your brand, to trust your brand, and at the same, and then buy from you if you've got something that you're selling. So it's critically important for you to understand that. So good copywriting demands that your mind is in the present to be able to pick these elements from the universe. And if you really want to be very, very good at copywriting, you have to be very observant, all right? You have to be very observant about things that relate to humans. When you are traveling, what are the things? Because when you are trying to reach out to certain audiences, there's a way that they behave, there's a way that they reason. Let's take, for example, if you're writing copy for secondary school students, there's a way you need to project that copy. There's a way you need to write it so that it has to reflect the reality of the secondary school student. If you're writing from a point of view of someone who is an employee and is working at a job, the secondary school student may not understand what you're writing in that copy. So that means that you're not reaching out well. That's why sometimes when you read certain copies, the copy is not converting, not necessarily because the copy is not good, but because the copy is not speaking the language and reflecting the reality of the audience that the copy is meant to address. So it's critically important that you have to become very observant and be in the present to be able to understand the elements that affect the audience that you're reaching out to is really important. So a good copy, all right, a good copy helps you to sell better. This is another point that I'm sharing with you tonight. You're able to sell better with your good copy because your good copy creates an atmosphere of trust that will make people find it easy to buy from you. All right, your good copy must be able to create an atmosphere of trust that will make people find it easy to buy from you. Somebody can write down that in the comment section. All right, your good copy will sell you better. You will sell better because you create an atmosphere of trust with your copy that will make it easy for people to buy from you. That's what your copy has to do. Now, that is where the tone also comes in. Somebody talked about tone. People who read my posts on my timeline will find out that I come off as sensual sometimes. I come off as accommodating. I don't come off as someone who is brazen. I don't come off as someone who attacks people. I come off as someone who is accommodating, because you have to make people people to feel comfortable with your copy. Yeah, I understand some individuals teach about copies that can be quite condescending and demeaning, but I have come to realize that those who accept those demeaning kind of copies are very few in number compared to those who want to become how do I put it now? They want you to, as they're reading their copy, they feel that you are caressing them with words. All right. You know, the relationship between a man and woman, you want to caress a woman, a man wants to caress a man, feels loved and all that. If you don't position yourself in a way that you make people to trust you with your words as you're writing your copy, then you may be putting them off. So let's take, for example, let's use this scenario, right, between a man and a woman. Most times you find out that for a man to have sex with a woman, the man has to do the things that he has to do to be able to set the mood. So it includes for him sending text messages, for him buying certain things, and then it begins to create that atmosphere for acceptance. But it don't just meet someone as a man, meet someone as a woman, right? In normal circumstances, right? And then the next thing, hey, pull off your skirt, and then you want to have sex immediately. No, it doesn't happen that way. You've got to be able to create an atmosphere of trust with your words. So your tone is really, really important. I don't think I've seen in natural circumstances a man that is wooing a girl and is shouting at the girl for the girl to accept him. I don't know if that really happens. If it's happening, it's weird and it's something that I've not really seen. But you find out that for a man to get across a woman's heart, the man has to be, his words have to be seasoned, his words have to be lovable, his words have to be soft, but at the same time it can be firm. All right. So that is what your copy has to do. Your tone is critically important. If you come off like you're attacking someone, then you're repelling the individual. The individual feels like, oh no, this person doesn't really understand my problem. He's sounding condescending, he's sounding demeaning. I don't think he really understands me. And then the individual walks away. That's how it is. So your copy has to be done in such a way that you will make people see you as someone that is trusting enough to buy from. The third point that I want to share with you is that a good copy creates deep connections with your audience, especially when they are personal. A good copy creates deep connections with your audience, especially when they are personal. A good copy creates connections with your audience, especially when they are personal. You can put that down in the comment section, okay? A good copy creates deep connections with your audience, especially when they are personal. Many people who read me online, you find out that most of my copies come from a personal point of view. Most of my copies, or let me say 99% of my copies, always come from a personal point of view. Most of my copies. So please post that in the comment section. Let me see. Fantastic. So thank you, Victor. A good copy creates deep connections with your audience, especially when they are personal. When you are creating copy and you use mostly your personal experiences, you find out people connect a whole lot more to that copy compared to when you are writing. Can the person mute his, I don't know, maybe it's in the background. When you use your personal experiences, all right, when you use your, thank you very much to that person. I think your child was giving us vibes from there. When you use personal experiences, all right, to write your copy, you find out that a lot more individuals connect to that copy compared to when you're writing something that is outside of your life or something that happened. Yeah, I'm not saying that when you use experiences of things that happen outside that they don't convert, but most times when you write from a personal, check out majority of the great people that you've seen around the world who are writing good copies. Mention their names: Russell Brunson, many of them, Ted Haggard, all of them. You find out that majority of their copies that they're using, they are personal. They're narrating their personal experiences. That is why if we want to become good copywriters, we want to be collectors of our personal experiences. We must be able to get to the point where we dig into our personal experiences, good and bad, to be able to create our copies. And I know that all of us here, as long as you are above, you have entered into this world, you become 1 year old or 2 year old, you're now 18 years and above, you have experiences that you can tap into when you're creating your copies. When I want to create certain copies, I think back and I'm like, okay, which experience will I utilize right now to be able to create the right kind of copy? Which experience will I utilize right now to be able to create the right kind of copy? There must be an experience that can relate to what it is that I'm writing about. So you must be able to come to the point where you have to always tap into your experiences, dig into your personal experiences to be able to create your copies. Because those personal experiences, when you put them in your copy, right? When you put them in your copy, you find out that people relate a lot more to those copies. It's critically important. So be a collector. So when I'm about to write certain copies, what I do is that I sit back on my seat and I let my mind wander back to years back to the present. And I begin from years back to the present. And then I begin to look at those stories, those nasty experiences, those great experiences, the things that I've experienced in my life. All right. And that's the power of the subconscious mind. The things that have happened to you in your life, they are embedded somewhere in your subconscious. When you sit down and close your mind, and it's a form of hypnosis. All right. For us, it's a form of hypnosis. Just allow your mind to wander. You begin to breathe in and breathe out. Allow your mind to wander. It will get to the point that your mind begins to see, to weave around in your subconscious arena and then begin to bring forth from the depth of the pit of your experiences those kind of things that have happened in your life that connect to what you want to really share. For example, when I created a copy about what I called cheap money, I related that experience to how I met a multi-billionaire and a multi-millionaire. And when I sat with him, he began to tell me about the hardship in the nation and the fact that if I'm not able to create more streams of income, that it was going to affect my life. And then he said something about Dangote, that Dangote has a way of collecting money even from the poor and from the rich every blessed day by having salt, by having sugar, by having noodles. And currently he's building his refinery so that he can be collecting money from people every day by serving them petrol or diesel. I use that to create a copy, my own personal experience. So I use that to create a copy. So every copy that we want to create, all right, that will serve the audience and make them to fall in love, to trust, and to buy from us, use your personal experiences. They connect a whole lot more to an audience, to your audience, okay? The next point I want to share with you is that, as I said, copies will not just always result in sales, but good copies can bring you gigs, can bring you collaborations, can bring you influencer deals. So if you're able to write good copies, all right? Good copies can bring you gigs, can bring you collaborations, can bring you influencer deals. Write in the comment section, all right? Good copies can bring you gigs. What I mean by speaking gigs or, gigs, nice gigs that can bring you a good amount of money. Collaborations with other people, and then influencer marketing deals, good copies. For example, I make good money now from influencer deals. There's even one that I'm supposed to start on Wednesday. So I make good money from influencer deals. Because people read my copies and they're like, okay, this guy has written a good copy. I think with this, he can be able to influence for our brand. And people who know me know that I write a lot of, when it comes to writing copies, I write lots of stories. I write good stories, good stories that will hook you from the beginning. And as you're reading, and then I start advertising to you. The problem I see most Nigerians do is that when you read what they are written, you automatically understand that they are writing a copy, even from the headline. From the headline, you'll automatically understand that this thing is going to give you 7 figures. Man, automatically as you read that, and then I see the same thing repeat itself in most copies that I've seen many Nigerians write. the same thing. Some of them will write, if you don't get results from this, I'm going to give you back your money with an apology. And many of them write the same thing in all their copies. The moment I start reading, I'm like, this guy is writing this just a format from somewhere. Maybe he has attended one class, I've given him that format, and then he's just following the format like that. It makes your copy very impersonal. It makes it look very formulaic. You get what I mean? Very formulaic. The moment people read it, it's a formula. And people tend to just keep and move away. But when you start out with a nice heading, with a good story, and then you begin to go into it, people begin to follow your story, most times personal story, and then they begin to go down, then you can now easily sell them what it is that you want to sell them. So at the end of this class today, I'm going to send to Favy to send to everybody here personally those copies that are written, and then you read them as we begin to prepare for tomorrow's class. That then you'll see where what I'll be sharing tomorrow will make a lot more sense to you. Okay, so it's critically important to understand that your good copy will bring you gigs, collaborations, and influencer deals. The final point that I want to make is that by writing good copies, you can build a great community for your personal brand that is heart-led. Okay, I want you to write copies from your heart. I don't want you to write copies just for writing's sake. I want you to write copies that you write from your heart. Understand that you become more influential, you become famous when you do things from your heart. A lot of copies that I see fakeness, or let me say fakeness in them. I see that people are writing copy just for the sake of writing copy. It's absolutely balderdash to me. So you build a great community when you write copies that are heart-led, copies that are written from the heart. It's critically important. So somebody can write in the comment section for me, you build a great community. Trust me, I have been building great community for myself to the point that I tell my friends, I tell people who care to know or who know me, that Emeka Nobis I don't pray for money to feed anymore, to feed myself and to feed my family, because every day deals come, because I have built great community for myself and I'm increasing in that number. Just yesterday, I became 64,000 followers on Facebook. I'm working hard to make that number to become 100,000 before December. This is just July, and I have 6 months to be able to make that happen. And because of the copies that I write on Facebook almost every day, I get a minimum of 1,000 followers every 2 weeks. So I've done the extrapolation, and I'm thinking that before December, that number can get to 100,000 followers. It's about 64,000 now. I have like 36,000 to go. So when I build this great community as a result of the copies that I write, I cannot beg for food anymore, because the community will feed me. The community will bring their money to fund my dreams. The community will bring their money as I'm funding my dreams by helping them with my copies to get what they want for their own lives. They will fund my vision. They will fund my dreams. They will fund my belly, because these days I don't pray anymore to feed. The only prayer I'm praying right now is prayer to have a lot more money to put away somewhere, just in case anything happens in the future. All right, money to make greater investments, because I'm thinking to own estates. I'm thinking to give money to developing the companies that develop lands and buildings, and then they develop, sell, and give me back my money, millions. All right, so if you build a community with good copies, trust me, they will fund you, they will fund your dreams, but it has to come from the heart. Don't write copy for writing's sake. I read a lot of copies and I see the fakeness in the copies. I see that their hearts are not in the copy. They just want to write copy because they want people to pay them money, and they collect the money, boom, boom, and then they go. Think about the future. Think about the fact that you're building a community around what it is that you do. It will serve you now and in the future. Okay? It's critically important for you to understand that. So let's look at the other. Let's look at a few elements that are written out here that can help you, all right, when you're writing good copy. And tomorrow, I said I'm going to give you we are going to send those copies to you. You analyze them, and tomorrow we'll go into parts what makes up a good copy, right? What makes up a good copy and how you can write good copies. Okay, so the elements that I want to share with you, number one, is that it connects to the previous one that I just shared before this one. All right, be heart-led. Don't think transactions only. Do not think transactions only when you are writing copies. All right, do not think transactions only. That's money, one bam approach. Collect the money, boom, move on. All right, be heart-led in when you are thinking about writing copies. So you can write in the comment section, right? Heart-led, be led by your heart. Do not be transactional all the time. All right, you know what I mean? Transactional, kalu kalu. All right, so you're just playing kalu kalu. You know, I just want to collect this money, boom, move on. I've sold my product, boom, 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 like that. You get what I mean? Be heart-led when it has to do with you writing copies. That's number one. Number two, be as simple as ever. All right, make your copies to be very, very simple. When I'm writing my copies, I know good English, I know big English, but you see all those big English, keep them aside. All right, keep your big English aside. Be very simple. It's even more important for us here in Africa than those who are abroad, because who are outside of Nigeria, sorry, who are in the first world countries. These guys, many of them are not dealing with hunger or with the basic amenities like we're dealing with in Nigeria here. So they have gone beyond those basic amenities, basic things about life, and their minds are thinking of bigger things. But over here in Africa, many of us are still battling and dealing with hunger, with the basic amenities as even as simple as power supply. So now when your copy becomes too difficult for them to read, too complex for them to break down, then they may just skip over it and then they don't care about your copy anymore. So be as simple as ever. When you think about a hard word, it's a big sound, a high sounding word, for example. Let's say something like stubborn. When you want to say stubborn, obstinate can be a synonym for stubbornness, right? So you can say somebody is obstinate. It means that the person is stubborn. Okay, if you want to be simple, remove the obstinate and just use the word stubborn. It will help you a whole lot, right? So be simple. Speak the language. Yeah, Jumoke is saying that speak the language that people will understand. Fantastic. That's the way. Be simple as ever. Avoid ambiguous words. You can confuse or mislead your audience and make them to lose interest. Thank you very much, Victoria. Victoria, thank you for that. So be simple as ever. I know big words, Emeka Nobis. I really know big words. I can spin big words. But man, when I'm writing copies, I'm very, very simple with my copies. Yeah. Okay, Victor. Oh, sorry, Victor Atama. Sorry, my dear. Sorry, my dear. Sorry, Victor. Sorry about that. I'm just seeing that. Victor Atama. Thank you for correcting me. Okay. Celestina, yes, use a layman language if there's something like that. Some people feel attacked when you call them laymen. But then that's what it is. Be simple, use very simple language. The next thing is be honest, all right? Do not present dishonest facts or untrue facts. The individuals who write copies, you know that you're not really making seven figures. So let me give you my own experiences. So some of these boys come to me. Let me call them boys. They come to me and then they ask me how much I charge to make to put up adverts on my page. And I see them arguing to pay, like, for example, I charge 10,000 naira to put up adverts on my WhatsApp status. And then I tell this individual, and then he tells me, it's too expensive. I cannot pay. And then they argue back and forth. At the end of the day, they pay the 10K. And then they send me their copy ad. And then I'm seeing their copy ad. The copy ad reads how to bank 700K monthly doing blah, blah, blah. And then they send me their graphic design, poorly done. And then I asked this individual, guy, you tell me that you are making 700K. You are making 700K monthly, right? He says yes. So, but why are you finding it difficult to pay 10K for ads? Why are you finding this flyer that you sent to me now? Who designed it? And they say they designed it using Canva. And I'm like, you're making 700K. But look at the flyer you're designing. The flyer, if you look at you on the flyer, say, if you're looking so hungry on the flyer, I mean, who is going to believe that you're making 700K and you're looking so hungry on your flyer? I mean, your shirt, look at your shirt, look at what you're wearing, look at the color combinations. The color combination is so whack. You're combining blue and red and white on your color, I mean, how can you say that you're making 700K and you cannot pay 10,000 naira for ordinary ad? You cannot do better design. Then what are you talking about? And I tell the guy, come, tell me the truth. Are you really making 700K? This ad that I'm going to run for you now, how to make 700K and bank 700K monthly. Are you really making it? They'll say, boss, you know now your boy, now we are trying to make it. I'm like, how can you be telling people that you're making 700K? Meanwhile, you're not making it. Start from where you are per time. You're not honest. So you find out that majority of these young people or majority of the guys who do copies here in Nigeria, many of them are liars. They are very dishonest. If you are making 50K, stick to the 50K per time and you keep growing. If you're making 100K, stick to the 100. Not that you're not making 100K. And now you come and write how to make 7 figures in 1 week, how to make 7 figures in 1 month, doing this, even when you don't know. I mean, how you can publish books on Amazon KDP, even when you don't know how to write and make $3,000 monthly. And I'm a guy, are you really making $3,000 monthly? And the person says no. I'm like, why are you being dishonest to yourself? Anybody who knows Emeka Nobis, you know that every time in my life, I'm always writing copies that deal with my current status per time. I make millions from, I will not lie to you. I make millions from my launches. I make 3 million sometimes, 4 million sometimes, 5 million sometimes from my launches. And it is my level now per time. I have not made 10 million from any launch so far in my life since I have started. I mean, I've been making millions, but I've not made, like, I make 10 million one time from a launch. I am going to that level where I can make 10 million, I can make 50 million from one launch, but I'm not yet there. So I cannot come and write a copy and tell you that you're able to make 10 million naira when I have not made it. Be honest to yourself. Because when people begin to see that your copies are not honest, trust me, it will backfire. It's critically important. Somebody's saying that KDP, but that's the truth now. So I see them a whole lot. So be honest. Let your copies be honest. When people begin to see, let me tell you something. Don't think that by you writing a copy and people are seeing 7 figures, 8 figures, 9 figures, then that is when they will buy. My dear, if you deceive them and then they eventually get in and find out that actually your reality is not the same thing that you're preaching, it will hurt your brand more. So if you are making 10,000, there are young people that I see today, they are making 10,000 naira. They are at that level. They say it. They say how to make 100,000 naira a month. And it is very real because that's what they are making every month. That's what they are making. Maybe sometimes they make 100,000. Sometimes they can do 80, maybe 120. But they're hovering in between those limits, 80 to 100. So if they are creating copies, it's easier for you to believe them. Not that you are at that level and then you are creating a copy that says, come and make 100 million. Meanwhile, you have not even made 1 million in your life. Please, per time. I want to disabuse people's minds. These things that you go to learn online and they tell you fake it till you make it. They say speak it before you experience it. It's nice, so, but trust me, in the marketplace, we are dealing with reality. We are dealing with the things that we can touch and handle. So when you keep trying to do this formulaic thing, fake it till you make it, preach, it will. I'm teaching you tonight for you to hold your brand in high esteem and deal with your brand with integrity and with honesty. You will go far than when you try to do these things because you want to do them so that people can give you money. It's critically important for you to understand. Anybody who has followed the Emeka Nobis brand, you find out that over time, my brand has been growing organically, reality upon reality, phase upon phase, integrity upon integrity, like that. As I'm increasing in phases like that. When I started out in the online space, I was making 30K. I was teaching things that were in line with my reality as I begin to also think about the future. As I am right now, my book that I want to launch in 2024, My target is 100,000 books. It is a big, big goal. I understand, big goal. But even if I don't reach that goal, I will pat my chest and say, yes, I stretched, because I'm marketing the book for the entirety of 2023, and I'm targeting 200,000 people to join the waiting list. And I believe that out of the 200,000, I can have 100,000 books sold. When you multiply it by 5,000 naira, I'm looking close to 500 million to be made from those books alone. But it's a big goal, and it is something that I feel that I can achieve. That is why I've set the goal. All right. But the thing is that if anybody who has been following, if you are here and have been following my brand, I have been growing precept upon precept, integrity upon integrity, like that consistently as I keep growing. You need to take your brand like that. Forget all these things that people who just stumbled into money, who are hustlers, who have been broke, and who can't even feed themselves. And then they stumble into hundreds of thousands. Boom, the next thing, they start to speak big language and all that kind of stuff, faking it, taking certain pictures, and you think that is what copywriting is all about. Copywriting is not deceitful. It is sincerity, is honest. You need to be riding upon that precept, okay? The next thing I want to share with you as an element, do not be vague, all right? Do not be vague. You've got to be concise, specific, so that people can understand what it is. So don't be vague with your copy. Your copy should not be vague. It should be concise. It should hit to the point. So you see the thing, when I read certain copies, I go to their landing page or more from the beginning. So many wordy words. They're sharing how their dog broke its leg and they took it to the hospital and they did the operation on the dog. From there, they now move on to how the mama became pregnant, and she became pregnant at the age of 70 years. It's a miracle. Thank God for miracle. And then my mama gave birth and all that. Then they move. I mean, the copy is so vague, so full of words, and then you see them put so many testimonials. And then they feel that these are the things that make people to make up their minds. And there, I don't know who teaches people all those things. You are reading, I mean, for you to buy an article, you have read like 3 pages of copy for you to be able to buy something. I don't know who teach. I don't know the kind of people who teach these things. But please avoid vagueness, be concise, and finally, do not fabricate lies. I think that's connected to the honesty. Don't fabricate lies just because you want to write copies. Now, there's a difference between fabricating lies and using things that didn't happen to be able to write a copy. There was a day I came up on my timeline. I said, you believe Jesus, right? But the parables that Jesus told never happened. They were not true. People began to lash at me and say, Emeka, you're an atheist. You are this. You are against God, blah, blah, blah. And then I asked a simple question. Those parables did not happen. Did they happen? Jesus told those parables to be able to convince and persuade. Those parables are good copies to be able to persuade human beings to take necessary steps. The parable of the Good Samaritan was something that was concocted. It wasn't really a lie. It was concocted to make people to believe certain ideologies, an ideology of love, that you have to love your neighbor as yourself. Do you understand what I'm saying? It was not a lie, but it did not happen. Jesus concocted that story to make you be persuaded to love your neighbor as yourself. Good copy, absolutely good copy. The way I shared it, people are like, hey, Emeka, you're a liar. You're saying God, Jesus Christ. Jesus didn't lie, absolutely, but Jesus concocted the story. And they say, I say, where did the Good Samaritan happen? Can you tell me the time? Can you tell me the location? Can you tell me the date so that we can go there and find out? It never happened. Jesus used them to illustrate some truths. Yes, Tiwa said that, to illustrate some truths, but they didn't happen. So the same thing when you're writing copies. You can concoct something, but do not fabricate lies. All right? You can concoct something to support your copy, but do not tell lies. For example, there are certain stories that I can write on my timeline. They did not happen. I concocted them and I used them to write a copy, but they were not a lie. I mean, I'm finding it difficult to really put this in across. They didn't happen. I concocted the stories, but they were not a lie. I don't know how to make this a little more explanatory, but then I believe that you've gotten the point. And that's my final point for tonight. So I will send those copies of written to Cindy, and then she's going to be able to send to everyone. And then tomorrow we're going to be looking at how you can write a good copy that actually that makes people to understand you, to connect to your brand, to love your brand, and then finally to buy from you. Okay, so it's 8 p.m. already. Thank you everybody for have listened to me up until this point. And as I wrap up, all right, let me bring in the point that you guys have written. This is beautiful, all right? So good copy talks about problems. You're hooked on the page. It is relatable. It keeps your attention. It triggers your emotions. It meets your needs. Tomorrow we are going to be looking at all that, and then how you can now start writing good copies and practicing. All right. So thank you, everybody. If you've got questions, please ask me questions and I will answer you. Okay. Thank you, everyone. Uche is saying value packed. Good. Stella is saying thank you. Stella, I love this. I love this. Thank you very much. So if you've got questions, please drop your questions now and I will answer them.
All right, guys, we have come to the end of today's class, and I want to appreciate Mr. Emeka for the nice outing. So meet you same time tomorrow. I'll be sending the links across, and you can prepare your questions for tomorrow. So as we log in tomorrow, start asking all your questions on the chat board, and they will have time to look at every single one of them, okay? So thank you very much. Keep a date with us again tomorrow. Have a good night, and we'll be shutting down ASAP.
Yeah, okay. So there are questions that are coming in before we shut down, please. Jennifer is asking, I have a question. Must everybody be a copywriter or learn copywriting? Well, Jennifer, the truth is this: we are in the marketplace, right? We want to be able to, we are not like every other human being. For someone like me, I'm not like every other human being. I have a job. My job is to persuade people to love my brand, to trust my brand, and to buy from the Mekanobis brand. Now, you're asking, if you are going to play in this game, please, I'm using the word game, not in a way of gimmicks or you know what I mean, or guiling someone. You have to be able to learn copywriting. I learned it too. I'm telling you the absolute truth. I learned it. Maybe I will turn on let me turn on my video now and show you guys what I bought. Guys, look at what I bought. I know you guys can see me. All right. I bought this book. This book now cost me 19,000 naira. The receipt is here. I bought the book for 16,500. No, I bought the book for 16,500 naira. And then the delivery fee to me here in Port Harcourt was 2,500 naira. Everything cost me 19,000. This is called 100 Million Offers, written by Alex Homozy. How to make offers so good, people feel stupid saying no. How to make offers so good, people feel stupid saying no. Somebody will ask, Emeka, let me turn off my video again. Somebody will ask, why are you reading this? It's because I told you that I have a target of 500 million from my books in 2024. I am marketing my book. I'm doing my marketing from January 2023 till June 30th, 2024. Can you imagine the length? So there's a reason to get more than 200,000 people to say, yes, Emeka, when this book comes out, I want to buy it. So at that time, I'm projecting if at least half of them can buy the book, that is something for me at 5,000 naira. If not, 50,000 people, maybe 2 books here, 3 books here that are buying and sharing. And then I'm also looking at connecting to Tony Elumelu to be able to. Now, how can I be able to do this? I need to know how to make the offer. That is why I bought the book. I have bought Russell Brunson's book. I have bought this guy's book. I have bought these are the things that I am utilizing. Can you hear me? Can you hear me, guys?
We can hear you, but you need to round off, please.
Okay.
Our time is
So as I'm saying, you have to be able to learn copywriting. You have to be intentional about it. So if you are in the business of persuading people to really be able to buy your stuff, you have to be able to do that. So do copyright light landing page, because writing landing page, my dear, you have to write it. But I'm thinking that the landing page, because you think it's difficult, is because you have been seeing long pages. No, they don't need to be long. They can be in between. So that's why I'm thinking that it's difficult for you. So it doesn't need to be difficult. All right. So Chigozie, I have a question. What is the place of fiction in copywriting? Yes, concoction. Copyright fiction in copywriting is concocting. So you can concoct. Remember I said concoct your story, but don't make it a lie. Don't use it to tell a lie. The story must be relatable and be real. All right. Okay, so I have a lot to write. What can you advise me? Keep writing. That's what I can tell you. A lot to write. Keep writing. The more you write, you become better. My desire is to become a good copywriter and earn from it after tomorrow's class. Fantastic. Do copywriters write novels? Novel is also part of copywriting, because writing stories is a part of copywriting. Okay, I think they're telling me I have to shut down. So I don't know how long tomorrow's class is going to be. My desire is to become a good copywriter and earn from it after tomorrow's class. That's obtainable. But remember, please, for you to be able to start earning, it may not be automatic or immediately. So you have to learn and practice and practice and practice, and that's it. Thank you so much for landing page. All right. So please, Infinite's asking what is a landing page. Landing page is that thing. Somebody gives you a link, you click the link and you go, and you start to read some stuff about the product. That is what landing page is all about. Can I say a brand is the same as the product? Yes. Emeka Nobi is the product. I'm a personal brand. I'm the product. Then my stuff, my books and trainings and coaching and all those other things are products. All right. So a brand can also be a product. It's important for you to understand that. Okay. Does copywriter write ads? Of course. Tools for copywriting. Okay. Thank you for response. Appreciate it if you write advice. We pay good. Yeah, you can pay good for copywriters if you want. For me, sometimes I pay. I focus on other things. All right. So Jennifer, you can pay good copywriters. If you have the money, you can pay good copywriters. They can write copies for you. I met one lady this afternoon. She said she takes 30,000 naira to write copies. If I have that, I pay. If I don't have the time, if I can quickly write my copy, I can do that. So if you've got the money, you can give other people to write for you. Okay. Do you have any recommendations, courses? Okay, I will answer that tomorrow. All right. So thank you very much. Somebody's asking, you can reach me directly. Yes, you can reach me directly. I don't know. My number is my WhatsApp number.
Do you want us to continue the class?
All right, guys. So
yes, so
let's continue.
Yeah, pay me $50.
All right, so my number is 09025153322. So you can still reach out to me on Facebook. My name is Emeka Nobis. All right,
LinkedIn link. They will connect with you on LinkedIn. Put this on the chat.
No, I'm not really a LinkedIn guy. I'm
okay.
Facebook. I'm not a LinkedIn guy. I'm really on Facebook. So 09025153322. You can reach out to me. Emeka Nobis on Facebook. I'm there. All right. Thank you very, very much, guys. Thank you for having me here. I've got to go. All right.
All right, guys, you have 10 minutes to copy whatever is on the chart, and I'm shutting down right away.
Thank you very much. The class is so engaging, so interesting. I really appreciate you, Emeka Nobis. We love you.
Thank you very much.
You're welcome. Don't love him too much. You just love him too much.
I love you guys too. Thank you very much. God bless
you. I've been hearing about you, and thank God I've heard your voice. It's relatable now. Thank you.
Bluetooth mode. This class makes sense.